wasn't sure if I was going to do this. I keep looking at myself like, wow, this is really a way to face your own thoughts and emotions. Looking at yourself, talking about it. I guess the reason I'm making this video is to try to process, or at least begin to process, my grief. Um, I was thinking about the fact that other than love, grief is the only other, probably at least 95% guaranteed emotion that every human being will feel. And, you can look at the charts and the lists of ways to get through your grief and all the stages of grief and everything else, but when it happens to you and you are suddenly in touch with these rare emotions, sometimes it can be very overwhelming and confusing and painful. And reading the lists and looking at the stages of grief and looking at the charts and all of these things doesn't really give anyone an idea of the extreme emotion that changes all the time and is constantly with you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I felt like I could make this video for someone who is going through this, and number one, know that you are not going through it alone. This is one of the most common human conditions. And number two, to see visually and hear someone going through all of the things that you're going through or might go through at some point in your life, when you have to go through the journey and kind of rite of passage of losing someone. As a human being, in this particular point in time, we die. We die, we leave. And how we leave and how we pass from this world to the next can have a great effect on the amount and the type of grief that those you leave behind have. And a lot of times we do those things in private, but I think that we need to stop shying away from the things that we have in common. We always talk about all the things that make us different, our race and our gender and our economics and where we work and where we went to school and who we know, and none of that matters when somebody leaves you. Now, last week or like 10 days ago, Prince passed away. Prince left it. Everybody know who Prince is. People, there was Purple Rain parties in all types of cities all across the world. Everybody was thinking about Purple Rain. Everybody felt that grief. And when it's somebody famous, we all allowed to show our grief and be open about it. But when it's somebody that's close to us, everything is private. But it's really not a private experience, man. You have to cling to those people that are around you, those people that make themselves available to you, that pray for you, who pray with you, who hold you, who hug you from afar and near and everything else. Because it's not easy. It's painful. It's a whirlwind of emotion that I don't know when it's going to stop. Every situation is different. Every person is different. But still, this process has to take place in all of us. We all have to go through the stages of grief. But anybody who's gone through it before can tell you that it crisscrosses over and back and forth, and there's no set pattern of how it happens. But there may be some moments where you think you're going crazy. And you may feel alone, and you may feel like people may judge you for what you're going through. And I want you to know that that is not the case. You're not alone. Many, many people, myself included, are going through it, are in pain, are hurting, feeling responsible, feeling all types of things. And you can't be afraid of that. And you don't have to go through it alone. Please, please, number one, pray. Pray to whoever you pray to that brings you comfort and gives you strength. Pray. I don't care what you call it. As long as you know you call it on the God of the universe that created heaven and earth and everything that is within the universe, then you pray to that. And then cling to those that reach out to you. Don't turn nobody away. Every single positive Facebook post, Instagram post, every single line that's written to you, everything that's sent to you, everything, accept it. Open your arms and accept it, because you're going to need it. You're going to need their strength to get through. You're at a moment where strength is waning. And somehow you know at this point in time, it's going to get worse before it get better. But understand that it will get better. I will tell you this one last thing before I leave. I lost my father to cancer, very aggressive cancer, in 2011. It was the most traumatic thing I've ever been through. He was in Richmond, Virginia, and I was in North Carolina, and I couldn't get to him. He passed away before I could see him ever again. And I never thought that I would get over it. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to eat. I knew I was never going to hear his voice again. And now, in 2016, I look at him and think about him with warm and positive memories. Even the ones that I looked on as negative at the time, I knew they were there to teach me a lesson, and he was part of that, and I appreciated it. And I loved him for it. And now, with my 2-year-old son, he's going to be without a dad. And I am at the very beginning stages of this grief. And I have never felt pain like this in my life. So, if you are out there and you feel it, know that you are not alone. People lose each other every day. And there's no weakness in crying. There's no weakness in asking for a shoulder to cry on. There's no weakness in asking for help, just to help you do the simple things, because I know and I understand that you don't have the energy. But remember to pray. Remember to accept all help. Embrace all prayers. And do your best to be strong. Because this too shall pass. But it's going to hurt like hell before it gets better. But you're not alone. There's somebody out there that wants to help you. There's somebody out there that's praying for you. There's somebody out there that loves you. Regardless of what you think, regardless of what your life has been like, regardless of anything. Accept it. And eventually, you'll accept God's plan. Because only God can take life. We think that guns and wars and all this stuff take life. No, God is the one who determines who lives and who dies. He's the only one that can breathe life into a newborn body. He is the only one that can take that breath away. That soul and God comes to an agreement, and when it leaves, it's gone. And you ain't got nothing to do with it. You just have to deal with the remnants of it. And it's gonna hurt. It does hurt. But I know it's a process. And eventually, you get through the process and you enjoy the memories. You tend not to think about the bad times anymore. And you try to appreciate the time that you did have with them because you didn't even realize that was it. My son's father had been alive for 48 years. I've known him for 7. There are people out there that knew him 30 years, 40 years. Had been a part of their lives. They lost someone. And I'm only feeling the outside of it. Because I didn't know him that long. I know all he was. He did some great things in his life. And I didn't see none of that. Just saw the end. The tail end of what happened in his life. Kind of helps me put my pain and my grief into perspective. And I feel like most important thing to know is that we're not alone. We're not going crazy. We're just in pain. We're just going through the transition. They going through a transition, and because we part of their lives, we going through the transition as well. Because they done gone from this life. They gone from this life. Gone from the earth as we know it. And we gotta live without them. And we gotta survive without them. And it's gonna be different emotions every day. And I'm not gonna say I'm gonna put a video up every day or anything like that. All I'm saying is that I just felt the need to do this for my own process, and maybe one day I can help somebody through their process, and you know, we can all help one another, because it's a hard process to go through, especially if you think you by yourself, but you're not. We all going through. I loved my son's father so much. And I'm never going to get a chance to see him again. And that hurts. Regardless of how I look at it, how I try to analyze it, nothing is making the pain go away right now. It's only been a few days. So it's completely understandable logically, but still it hurts so bad. I can have a random thought and just want to break down crying. And have. I say it's normal, but that doesn't make it any easier. But what I'm hoping is, when you're in the beginning of your grief, and you're going through these roller coaster of emotions with twists and turns and loop-de-loops and all of that stuff, going through all these stages of anger and denial and bargaining and depression, finally acceptance. Acceptance only comes at the end, even though you may think you glimpse it in at different times. Only at the end does acceptance really take hold. It took me 5 years to get there with my dad, and now I got to go through the process again. And I got to raise our son without his dad. So I'm going to need your prayers. If you believe in prayer, please pray for me. And if you are going through this pain and this grief, know that I'm praying for you too.